Hello everyone, this is D-Vang. Just wanted to show you all some of the miniatures for Shadows of Brimstone that I painted. Some of the enemies. I have the majority of the enemies done. They're the two giant, giant ones, extra large ones left, and the Hungry Dead, which I still need to paint and finish up, but I have the majority of the others. I thought you might like to see them and appreciate them. Obviously you'll see them next week when Joseph Scotts is in the mines. So here's a sneak preview of them. Enjoy. Okay, first up here we have the Void Spiders, as you can kind of see, and I'll get in a closer look. But they are, I went with kind of a fleshy, bony look. So they've got kind of a bone color with a mix of some red and some flesh color to sort of give them kind of a slightly gory, slightly pulpy, pulpy flesh sort of look. Alright, and then we can see if we can focus on this. So there's the underside with the nasty teeth. They're very creepy. Both the ladies in my group are like, keep those things away from me. So apparently my horror inspired look was working, was successful, and so they are certainly kind of creepy, gross in that regard. I think they came out pretty well. I did not want to do sort of the typical Void Spider, ethereal kind of look that that we've already seen that came in the book. I want to do something a little different. I think these kind of came out pretty much just the way I wanted them, with that kind of said bone horror, brains with bone legs and teeth on their underbellies kind of idea. So there are the Void Spiders. Next up we have the Hellbats. Now I painted these reddish with orange and some purples. I know sort of what they show in the book is green, but I was thinking, well, I've got my red miniatures. I'm gonna, and in the actual swamps, you do have bog bats. So the red ones are the red sprues. Hellbats are going to be the bog bats. They're going to be green. That makes sense, the bog bats to be green. So I need to do something different for these guys. And I figured, well, they're hellbats. Why not make them reddish? Make them, why else were they called hellbats? Because they looked like they came from hell. So they're, they're red and kind of almost flamey, with kind of gross purpley tongues, and we've got the wings, and there's actually some really nice detail on these models on these wings. I mean, just the little stretches and folds in those wings was really nice for being able to paint. So they're the Hellbats. They're said not your typical green beast, although those will show up come time to paint the other ones, the bog bats. But there you have it. There are some Hellbats. 6 nasty Hellbats. Now we have the Stranglers. Now I had a hard time trying to come up with a paint scheme for them. And then my wife suggested, well, why not do something gray, like a really light gray. Make them kind of voidy, kind of snowy for the target plateau. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, I could do kind of like a gray man theme, you know, alien gray man kind of theme. So that's what I started with, and I applied my base of dark gray, and I kind of liked the look with the dark gray, but then it just kind of struck me that I could make them just with the black primer and the dark gray. It just kind of reminded me of Alien, you know, the movie series. And I was thinking, well, you know, do kind of an H.R. Geiger kind of look might be kind of cool for these. So I actually took these guys, and you may not be able to see it in these pictures, but I actually brushed them with some of the gunmetal to give them a little bit of a shine. And then I put on a little bit of layers of some darker blues, and then obviously put some touches of red to make them extra gory and extra creepy. So these are the Stranglers, and I apologize for the glare. I don't know if I can get this any less glary though. If I can get that to focus. Guess not. Alright, so. But they are certainly, again, a little bit of blood on the belly, and of course on the, you know, red tinge on the hands, just to add to the creepy feel, the creepy vibe of these fellows. Certainly makes makes them pretty dark and terrifying. So there are the Stranglers. Now, as you can see, we have the Slashers. And I know in the books they have them red, and I've seen some others do them red, and I kind of wanted to avoid that. And I was, with all the figures I was painting, I was trying to keep them different, keep different palettes. I didn't want ones to necessarily, at least in this first round, have them be too similar to any of the others. So you can see, you know, we've got the spiders that are going to be kind of white and bony, and the red for the hellbats. So I wanted to avoid the red that I use for the hellbats. So I went with green. I mean, they're from the swamps of Durango. So I went with green, but with, you know, they're bugs. They're kind of like giant beetles. So you know, and they're dangerous. So, you know, dangerous beetles tend to have brightly colored markings to say, hey, I'm dangerous. So it's green with red, and you can see and orange spots to add just a little bit of, break up some of that green. You know, when I didn't have the spots on, obviously it wasn't originally planned to have the spots, but it was, you know, they were pretty green. And I was trying to think, you know, what other color could I put in to break them up. You know, I was thinking of, you know, alternating plates or trying to do a fade job, but, you know, those can be, especially on the, you know, the segments of the scales and the plating, that's awfully difficult to do. Unlike you can see on the, you know, the tubing doing some gradients, you know, is a little bit easier since it's all pretty smooth. You can make the transitions pretty easy without it being broken up by the actual model itself. And then I hit upon, well, you know, there's some spotted beetles, so let's put some spots on them. And voila, and I think it came out pretty well. They're all, oops, they're all mostly, you know, pretty similar. They got a little bit of purple on the back, on the back plating, you know, and the little red bulbs on their mantis-y, you know, front. I don't know what those are, proboscises or something. And a little bit of, you know, said the kind of transitional piping on the backs to give them that extra oomph and the beady yellow eyes. So there you go. There are some not quite as creepy as the majority of the others, but certainly I think pretty unique, pretty scary, at least to face them. And they were a lot of fun to work with, being so large and with so many little details that you could you know, I could add little embellishments to, like the pipes in the back and the claws. Last but not least, we have the Night Terrors. Obviously, you know, the specific ones to target are the Snow Terrors, which I will use the red sprue miniatures for, and they're probably going to be more abominable, you know, your traditional abominable snowmen, you know, actual snow terrors. So these are the Night Terrors. Despite it all, obviously the kind of the colors that they did, that Flying Frog used, you know, for Night Terrors. I mean, they're Night Terrors, so they've certainly, you know, certainly lends itself to the midnight blue, dark blue kind of palette. So you know, and it really just works for them. So I started with, you know, obviously the black coat, and then did some progressively lighter shades of blue, and some white, you know, highlights, and then obviously a little bit of red on the claws and the teeth, and you can see the kind of creepy eyes. You know, you can just imagine that's all you're seeing when it is, you know, when it's dark, and all you see, you know, are those eyes and maybe the teeth looking at you. Kind of, again, kind of the whole creepy vibe coming at you. But again, these were pretty unsettling for the first time that my group members, you know, took a look at them, and they were like, in fact, I even got a comment, I kind of liked it better when they were unpainted, simply because, you know, you didn't get to see just how horrifying these all the creatures were that they were facing in quite as much detail. Now they get to see the big teeth and, you know, the bloodied claws, and but you know, it certainly made it a lot more interesting, a lot more visually appealing when we had them on the table and we're facing them. So again, for those of you who follow Joseph Scott's, next Wednesday, when he goes back into the mines, you will see these all these miniatures on the table. Hopefully I'll be able to get at least like the Hungry Dead finished by then. We'll see how motivated I remain to get them all painted. So he should have a full complement, hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, that all of the enemies that Joseph faces will be painted, and you'll be able to see in all its gory detail, you know, just how horribly he loses to the multitude of enemies that he faces. So I hope you appreciated this video. You know, hope you liked it. I know there's a little bit of glare, and you may, you know, obviously they honestly, they look a lot better in person. Miniatures always do. Seeing them through an image or a camera, just for some reason, you know, maybe it picks out the tiny details and flaws much better than the human eye. I don't know, technically why, but I do know that, miniatures just, even when I'm looking, taking pictures of games and armies and things like that, that other people have painted, better painters than I am, it's just, they don't look nearly as good as they did in person. And it's just the nature of the beast. So, but these will give you an idea of how I painted mine, the colors and my thoughts around the colors that that I chose for them. And hopefully for those who haven't painted theirs yet and plan to paint them, I could give you some ideas on what you might want them to look like or don't want them to look like, depending on your mood. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll enjoy seeing them on the table next week. Thanks.